They tried to slap that look right off my face, but I'm still grinning. And the money ain't run out yet, so I do believe I'm winning. For all the mess I was, am and will be continuing, and the fun is only beginning. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la.
Hello and welcome to Don't Bury the Lead. We recap WWE SmackDown every Saturday night, but tonight's a unique night. We're doing it on a Wednesday because I had tickets to AEW Collision. My name's John Zindel. I'm joined by Dom Scarcella. Dom, get and tell the people a little bit about yourself.
It's that time of year where WWE is having so many premium live events. A Saturday night's main event thrown in there as well. Does anyone remember SmackDown? John, don't bury the lead. What's our top story from SmackDown for Friday, May 2nd, 2025?
Dom, we don't ever bury the lead. And the lead is the main event, a women's tag team match. I feel like I have not seen a women's tag team match in the main event in a while. It's Naomi and Nia Jax versus Tiffany Stratton and Jade Cargill. Lots of storyline stuff involved here, but Tiffany Stratton and Jade Cargill get the win. Dom, what did you think of this main event matchup between Stratton, Cargill, and Naomi and Nia Jax?
Couple of tag teams of convenience here based on very, very recent feuds that each of them are in. Jade gets the pinfall here. Nia's going up for the Annihilator after splashing both Tiffany and Naomi together in the corner. Turns her attention to Jade, thinks that she's going to do that finishing move, splash off the second turnbuckle. She's too slow. Jade recovers, and they rope-aided powerbomb for the pinfall. And then post-match, it's Jade who takes the championship belt from the referee and hands it to Tiff, but not before there's a tug-of-war. So suddenly Jade Cargill goes from, a couple of months ago, like, we don't know if she can wrestle, to now she not only can wrestle, but they're giving you that visual of she's a top contender for the women's WWE Women's Championship.
Crazy, right? She looks a little almost dead in the water,
Right.
being basically a borderline valet for Bianca Belair and getting the tag team coming in, doing like 2-3 moves of doom, tagging out. But yeah, they have her in the main event here. They have her up in the title picture, her holding the belt, which is crazy. So yeah, definitely good for her. It looks a little shaky there for a minute, but it looks like they're giving her the push that, it seemed like they intended her to have in the beginning when they brought her in the Royal Rumble and made her look so strong.
Yes, all the fanfare over her signing.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about this match, or I have some spots to go over here. Specifically, I like how Jade isn't Goldberg anymor. She's wrestling real matches. When she's in there with Naomi, she's bumping and, selling like the face really needs to. And even when she's toe-to-toe with Naomi's pretty big. Like next to Jade, like she's still kind of thick. So like when she's wrestling Jade, it's not like ridiculous. Like Jade's a little bit more trim and fit, and Naomi's a little bit more like, thicker. So it all sort of makes sense from a, like, it doesn't look so insane that like Jade needs to be booked like Goldberg and never gets hurt and all this stuff. Like she's actually wrestling matches. So I like how they're
Naomi's shorter, like you're saying. Naomi isn't like freakishly tall for a woman. Like Jade is kind of tall. She's like the 5'9", 5'10" range.
Yeah.
So she's clearly, you know, a standard deviation or two above the mean in height.
Yeah.
So's Nia Jax. But I mean, Naomi and Tiffany Stratton, they're not small.
No.
They're just shorter, and each of them has some muscle on them.
Yeah. It's not like Candice LeRae or something like that, you know.
Yeah,
Like
there
these
were
little
some
petite
really
girls.
small, thin women wrestlers.
So I like that a lot. One thing I couldn't wait to call out to you. Heels not working together well when Naomi forces to tag in from Nia.
Yes.
Finally, the heels are acting like bad people in tag team matchups.
Right. They're like, look at each other like, what? They're getting resentful because one's tagging in and the other one isn't. Yes.
They're usually well-oiled machines, right?
Yeah.
These heel teams. I'm like, man, these people that are supposed to be bad guys really work well together.
Yes.
Did you have any spots that you wanted to call out?
I did like that. This is maybe a good and bad that Jade was in there a lot. It wasn't Jade just standing on the outside of the tag match, waiting for her hot tag for 2 or 3 minutes. Jade was in there a while.
Mm-hmm.
And it almost looked like, you know, Tiffany Stratton was getting that protected treatment for a while. But then you realize, okay, they're baby faces. So it makes sense that one baby face is getting double teamed and it's going to be in there for a while and they're going to build to the hot tag. I'm glad to see that Jade can play both roles in that babyface tag team. She could be the one that's selling a lot while not looking weak and also be the one who can get a hot tag. So I like that. Let's see. Nia catches Tiffany climbing the turnbuckles, hits a Samoan drop, then a leg drop. But Naomi blind tagged herself in like you were talking about.
Yeah.
So Nia couldn't go for the pin right away. Naomi very slowly set up the split leg moonsault. But Tiffany Stratton got her knees up, and that's when Tiffany was able to crawl to Jade and get a big hot tag. Jade cleans house. So that was kind of one thing you were talking about there, like the heels not working as a well-oiled machine there. And it was a pretty fun sequence, and it gave the baby faces something neat to build to. Other than that, I didn't have a ton of spots that I wrote down. Jade going for the scoop slam, but Nia squashing her early.
Yeah.
For a 2 count. Let's see here. Tiffany did an interesting crucifix slam for a 2 count.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was when Nia Jax, they initially sold it as Nia was going to get her up for a Samoan drop. But instead, Tiffany held on and rotated enough where she brought Nia down with more force.
Yeah.
So that was a neat counter to the Samoan drop. I like watching when people have interesting counters to things, so you're just not watching predictable spots.
Yeah, especially because that's going to be a real go-to move for Nia Jax. That's like one of her big moves. So it's cool that they have kind of a reversal worked in. So when they eventually hit their match, I think, you know, that should be good.
And then when, you know, if she finally hits it, it becomes a bigger deal. So not a bad match. It went in the 11 or 12 minute range here. And like you said, it closed the show. Not bad. And again, we're seeing more cool stuff from Jade.
Yeah.
I don't know if she's quite ready for the singles title picture. I mean, she looks the part just visually, just at first glance. But I don't know if she's quite ready for that from a wrestling standpoint. But she's trending upward. Let's say that.
Exactly what I have in here. I wanted to say Jade is a little unpolished, but improving.
Yeah.
So there's the progression, but there's still little things throughout the match. I won't nitpick too much because she's improving. So that's all you really want to see, right?
Mm-hmm. It's going to be a question of stamina as well. She's been in a 10-minute singles match, but then everything else is tag.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be a question of stamina if they want her to be, you know, a big pay-per-view premium live event singles contest.
She's at least body built fit, but who can see if she's really athletically fit, right?
Right. She has the wind behind her, cardiovascular, but also that, you know, she's not going to be lost at the 15-minute match going like, well, I already did everything I know how to do.
Right.
I did everything I know how to do at the 8-minute mark. I've been coasting for the last 7. What do I do now? You know, so That's part of it. That's part of wrestling a long match. Is not just doing 2 minutes on loop for 16.
Oh man, the repeat stuff. Accidentally just being like, I ran out of stuff, and then you do like a same spot again, and you're like,
Yep.
yeah, you don't want to do that. That's one of the baseline things. You don't want to repeat the stuff without any meaning. Then you're just doing random. You're just going back and forth. You're in the indies. We were in the indies, just doing DDTs back and forth. I've seen it. It ain't good.
Yeah.
And I participated in stuff like this. So, one last thing about this match.
Yes, go for it.
Did Jade lick Naomi's face?
Oh, I wasn't. I didn't have that high definition of a picture here on my computer screen.
I think at some point she licked the side of her face, which was like, okay, weird.
I don't remember Naomi getting busted open where maybe that was that would have been like a heel move, like, taste the blood of your enemy.
Spit it out or whatever. Yeah. No, I think it was like she does this. It was during the finish. She did it. So maybe I was seeing things. Who knows? But yeah, that's all I had for the match. It's a pretty good one. We at least got a wrestling match, which is fun.
We may have to go back and check the videotape on that one. Did Jade lick the side of Naomi's face?
Yeah, we've got people in the chat. If you can somehow correct me, that would be great. And if not, that's okay too. So, Dom, I think that's going to take us to the follow here.
There we go.
Next match here.
We had 6 matches technically, so there's a lot to choose from. What do you like?
Maybe we could talk a little bit about this one. We got Miz versus Aleister Black.
Mm-hmm.
Aleister Black. Not sure if this is, his debut or a re-debut here. Is this his first real match? I know.
First real match, yes.
Yeah.
He beat the crap out of the Miz during, just kind of a talking segment where he interrupted the Miz.
Yeah, so Aleister Black, kind of predictably in his first match back in the WWE, beats the Miz. Miz at this point is kind of playing a very aged veteran that's going to put on good matches but loses. I think Miz did honestly, I'm pretty impressed with the Miz in this match.
Okay.
I have one, not necessarily a spot, but an announcer thing.
Okay.
It says, the lead announcer says, life takes interesting turns. And Aleister Black was no longer with the company. It's like, life takes interesting turns, but he's back here in the WWE. It's like, you fired him. It's insulting. Like, yeah, you guys forced that turn. You released
Joe
it.
Tessitore putting
a weird spin on this.
Putting a very Vince McMahon, pro Vince McMahon spin on things.
Yeah, life takes interesting turns. Like, just, no sort of hard feelings at all there. Just like, you know what? Honestly, that could have happened to anyone at any time in any job. He's back though,
Like Norm Macdonald coming back to host Saturday Night Live after they got rid of him.
Right.
And except Aleister Black really didn't just, rip into them in his monologue.
No.
Either I've gotten a lot funnier or this show's gotten worse.
Right.
Either I've gotten much better at wrestling or everything else here has gotten much worse.
Right. No, that's a fantastic callback. I don't really have a whole ton of notes from this match. Miz can really work with anyone. He's looked really good. I know that's kind of high level, not too specific, but I've liked him in this role and really pushing for the Ricochet Memorial Award here.
Right. He is good. You're right. He's very good. And he seems to be the guy who's elevating other guys. He did it for LA Knight.
Yeah.
Who else did he do it for? He was mostly
Logan
on Raw.
Paul?
So pardon?
Maybe a little bit of did he help Logan Paul's journey?
Maybe a little bit. It was more on Raw than here on SmackDown. So
yeah.
I remember the LA Knight thing because their blow off was at a premium live event. So we all got to see it. But yeah, the Miz is great at this. At one point, he's doing kicks to the chest of Aleister Black, and Aleister Black is no selling it at all. And of course, they're talking about he trains with judo masters. Or, those kicks have no effect on him. Miz did go for the skull crushing finale. Aleister Black got his hands in front of him, though, and kind of handstand flipped out of it to stop it, which is a pretty good one. And then after a attempted distraction by Carmelo Hayes and the Miz getting a roll up for a 2 count, Aleister Black stands up and hits that spinning super kick for the pinfall. So if you're taking notes at home, sometimes super kicks still work like Shawn Michaels where you get a pin, and other times like 3 or 4 super kicks just mean that the other guy gets to super kick you. Usos.
Yes, it is. It is very super kick is either nothing move or in this case an absolute finisher.
Like it's still a finisher. Like there you go. So there you go.
I do kind of like what's going on here with Miz and Carmelo Hayes. There was a nice distraction there during it, and I like because Carmelo Hayes has been a good like wrestler, but he hasn't necessarily been the best character in the world.
Yep.
So I like pairing him with the Miz now, and then maybe Miz can kind of bring him along to teach him how to be kind of like a cocky jerk, which the Miz is the expert at.
Mello looked like he was going for that line of character all along, right? Just the cocky jerk. Maybe he just needs maybe a little refinement or a chance to, because when you're the new guy and you're that cocky, it's like, who are you? But if he gets a little more time under his belt there and he's paired with the Miz, maybe it just becomes a better presentation, a more believable presentation. You were mentioning Carmelo Hayes wrestling a lot. For a while, he was wrestling on average once every SmackDown to begin this year. I mean, the first 3 months of the year, he had done about a dozen matches.
Yeah, he was all over the program.
He was wrestling almost every show, sometimes twice in a show if they were doing a thing where he had a triple threat and then a match later it was a tournament or something for a contendership.
And
so
he was good. He's serviceable, especially for an NXT call-up, because a lot of people come up from NXT and you're like, what in the world are they doing here sometimes? But he's been a serviceable NXT call-up. So looking
like bottom of the card, but they're not afraid to put him on TV. And that's got to be a good sign when you're a young wrestler. It's like they're not afraid of putting you out there. You're not getting pushed into title pictures yet, but they're not afraid to put you out there. And now they're pairing you with somebody who's known even beyond wrestling.
Yeah, for sure. I do have one minus for this match.
Okay.
I didn't hear much of a pop at all for Aleister Black when he came out. It was not like, oh, he's back, he's here, it's Aleister Black. Like they said it on the announce team, but the crowd just was not like, there was no, oh my God, he's here, he's back, Cool song, for the entrance, and of course the look is pretty wild, but we'll have to see with him.
He looks like he belongs with like Karrion Kross or the old Judgment Day or something. It's another one of those very dark characters.
Yeah, they have a lot of those floating around, don't they?
Now and we haven't heard him talk yet, so maybe it's that people are just like, okay.
Yeah, he was okay in AEW. He's not anything to write home about.
Well, we'll see what we do. I mean, life takes some unexpected turns.
Life takes interesting turns.
Interesting turns. There you go.
Well, I said the first match, or I brought up the first match here. Do you want to take the next one?
Sure. Let's see. What did I like most here? It wound up being a throwaway match, but I like the fact that they started the show very quickly with LA Knight out there cutting a promo. Damian Priest comes out to interrupt because he hears LA Knight, talking about him because of what happened the previous week. And maybe this talking segment went a little long, but they were trying to build that, Damian Priest and LA Knight, two baby faces, but then they're kind of building a little animosity with each other. Eventually it leads to a match. LA Knight versus Damian Priest. It goes more than 10 minutes before the match gets thrown out because of Solo Sikoa interfering which also brings out eventually Jacob Fatu. And spoiler alert from later in the show, Nick Aldis makes initially a triple threat for Backlash. Jacob Fatu defending against LA Knight and Damian Priest until Solo Sikoa says, "What? Drew McIntyre won the #1 contender match. It should be against him." And Nick Aldis says, "That's a great idea. A fatal 4-way. Drew McIntyre gets added to it." So,
Right.
So they're playing up that Solo is doing no favors for Jacob Fatu, among other things. The match was pretty good before it got thrown out. I mean, I'll watch LA Knight wrestle anybody, and Damian Priest is a former world champion. He can wrestle as well. I mean, he dragged a main event quality pay-per-view match out of Bad Bunny. So I was enjoying this match until it got thrown out.
Yeah, I have the same feelings that you do, where we got to keep throwing these matches out now. I don't know. It's just too many. You can't just keep throwing out the matches.
Ruin a crappy match.
Yes, right. We always get a finish from a crappy match, right?
Right.
Oh man.
I do. I mean, they all got their good stuff in. I was impressed. And this may be due to Damian Priest being tall, but LA Knight was able to hit that tilt-a-whirl power slam on a standing Damian Priest rather than having him come off the ropes. And it might be that, you know, with Damian Priest having that height and the long legs, he's able to help get himself up and spun around.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you're always a move like that, especially LA Knight, he's a strong guy. He's done that move to Roman Reigns, who's a heavier, bigger wrestler. But interesting to see him do the tilt-a-whirl power slam from a standing position there. Went for the jumping elbow, but Damian Priest put up that one big arm, almost Undertaker style, and caught him by the throat. And then went for the choke slam, but LA Knight sidestepped it, escaped it a bit. So it was good stuff from each of these guys. They're each kind of hitting their greatest hits, but maybe a little variation on them. LA Knight, the DDT, then the top turn elbow drop after doing the thing with the crowd.
That woke the crowd up when he did LA Knight big elbow drop. They were like, they popped for that. They were into it.
Yeah. He first match of the night, and they got into it.
He knows exactly what button to press to get the crowd. The crowds are always excited for his matches, and he knows exactly what to do.
Yeah, great things from Damian Priest too. I mean, the Razor's Edge for what was almost a 3 count, and I'm wondering if that was supposed to be maybe a foot on the rope thing, but LA Knight wasn't quite close enough, so he really did have to get the shoulder up at the last instant there.
Oh,
either way, it looked great.
Yeah, I had the Outsider's Edge. Sorry, which is the same thing. Just
it's the exact same move by the exact same guy.
Yeah, that's the WCW name.
Yep.
Yeah, so the Outsider's Edge, I had said that looked fantastic. You know, I thought that was like the spot of the match. Specifically, the LA Knight was really good, and then for Damian Priest. So, yeah, we were cooking with oil there, but then we have the schmaz, so.
Yeah, and then at the end, then Jacob Fatu, again, he's cleaning house. I mean, if you're going to make a guy look invincible where he's beating up 2 guys, it can't be top guys who are going to be in the match with him this weekend, right? I mean, yes, there's a little bit of the surprise element, but you shouldn't be taking out multiple top guys without the aid of a chair or a kendo stick or something.
Yeah, they've got a little bit of a Goldberg situation with Jacob Fatu. You know?
Which is too bad because Jacob Fatu looks like he's a much more seasoned wrestler than Goldberg in WCW was. And Jacob Fatu can sell. He can have longer matches. He's a more interesting performer at this stage of his main roster career than Goldberg was. There's no need to Goldberg him.
Yeah. It's not like they need to because they don't know what else to do with him.
He's a very seasoned veteran even before he got to WWE. And in WWE, he's shown what he can do. There's no need to, you know, sometimes the invincibility shtick is to hide a guy's weaknesses for a while. There's no need to do that. Jacob Fatu is a well-rounded wrestler. He can do this. You know, I'm wondering how they're going to play this out. There was no Drew McIntyre on tonight's show. So obviously he wasn't there because he's still heelish. So they don't want him getting beat up by Jacob Fatu. But the two baby faces got beat up by Jacob Fatu again. So
what we saw of the match was good, but
it had this gone to a finish, I would have been interested in it. I would have been interested. These guys can both wrestle. I like it. Where do you want to hit to next? Anything, or did you have anything else about this match?
Let's go to the next match here.
Okay.
Let's talk about Fraxium versus Pretty Deadly.
Yes.
Our boy is Pretty Deadly. Take the loss to the newcomers, Fraxium, who win the match, the tag match, over Pretty Deadly. What'd you think of Fraxium getting the win over Pretty Deadly?
Fraxium getting a big push here. If you don't mind, I'm going to call them the European Machine Guns.
Okay.
Because I think I've seen this before.
Right.
They're just both from Europe. That's all.
The European Machine Guns.
So yes, it's well. Let's also give Pretty Deadly the Fraxium naming convention. So it's Welton versus Fraxium here. The match goes about 10 minutes, like you said. Axiom does a top turnbuckle Spanish fly on Kit Wilson. Then Nathan Frazier does that twisting splash off the top turnbuckle for the pinfall here. Let's see here. At one point, Elton Prince looked like he got busted near the mouth area the hard way.
Oh, yeah.
Mouth and chin area. He was selling it well, though. It looked like it happened when Frazier hit a running shooting star press, either caught him with an elbow or maybe with his own chin into the mouth. The high impact move, a lot of torque there, especially if there's a pointy object like an elbow or a chin or a tooth coming into play there. Elton did a good job of selling it. Maybe some of it was he was literally, dazed for a few seconds.
I wrote in my notes, Elton Prince bleeding the hard way, and is he injured? For real?
Right?
I was like, he either did a brilliant job selling and tricked me, or I thought he might be really hurt.
Yeah, a little bit of a bell rung. I mean, he took a shot to the head area.
Yeah, and it was bleeding bad. It wasn't just like a little, like sometimes they get like those little razor marks, or not really razor marks, but they get like little baby cuts. This was like, oh, he's gushing.
Yeah, he took a shot to the chin mouth area there. If he was a little dazed, his autopilot is working correctly. He wrestled. I mean, they were able to get him out of harm's way and hit the finishers on Kit Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that was an in-match adjustment.
Right.
But decent match. I like Pretty Deadly. They've grown into their shtick as more than comedy. It'll be time for them to get some wins, though. Fraxium, maybe a little generous with the push here. I'm not sure.
Yeah. They did all these dives. Yeah. So my shtick, of course, is going to be to critique the dives.
Yeah. Let them have it, John.
So many dives. And I was like, this is not a good way to get on my good side. And also to beat Pretty Deadly, who has shown flashes and who actually have a really good character. I was like, why are these geeks winning? I didn't like the dives. Was there a botched 3 count at one point when someone was supposed to kick out? There was like a 1, 2, and the ref goes like this, and the guy doesn't kick out.
Was that when Elton barely kicked out after getting busted open?
Yeah, I don't think
he may have been just a little slow.
Yeah, he must have been knocked silly and almost didn't kick out.
Yeah, I mean, momentarily he was there, and I don't know if maybe Nathan Frazier just, in his ear, inaudible to us, just said, kick out,
Yeah. Like, it didn't look like he kicked out, but he just went 2, and it was real goofy and confusing.
Yep.
And I think that the double team kick by them looked good. Really cool hip toss by Pretty Deadly too.
Hmm.
But yeah, I don't get the. I mean, they just got called up. They're nervous. It's a big spot for them. They're moving from NXT to the main roster, so you're not gonna. Sometimes you just get people that aren't really that are just super nervous. I think Tiffany Stratton was somebody before when she first came up. I was like, "What's the big deal with her?" And then, like, she got her legs under her right away. I was like, "Oh wait, she's really good." So maybe that's the case with Fraxium.
Before we move on, what do you think of the Spanish Fly just in general as a move and specifically with Axiom doing it? The Spanish Fly to me seems you're giving it thumbs down there. The Spanish Fly to me seems like one of the most contrived moves there is. It's like the
Ever.
two guys have to like work so in tandem in order to set up the move that it looks not real.
It looks. We don't want to use the F word here on our show.
It looks fraudulent, John.
You got close. You got close. I almost had to beep you there.
It looks fraudulent.
Well, the only thing that's fake is NASCAR on this show.
Absolutely. And democracy.
And
If the Hulkster is at a convention tearing off his shirt.
Democracy's not real. Wrestling is real. Oh my God, amazing.
Yes.
Oh,
That's a short. Head on over to Don't Bury the Lead wrestling channel on YouTube. Go through our archives of the hashtag shorts. It's in there.
You know, oh man, I gotta download like a couple of those wild shorts and just make a short video and be like best of shorts and just see what the people think of that.
There we go. So tell us in the chat, tell us in the comments. Do you want a best of Don't Bury the Leads shorts? Not our short shorts that we're wearing, but the hashtag shorts.
Yeah, the YouTube shorts, which are the knockoff of TikToks. But
yes.
yeah, so let us know if that's going to be there. And on that note, Dom, we have Fraxium getting the win. What's the next match that you would like to talk about?
We talked about we hit the main event women's match. How about Zelina Vega versus Piper Niven with Chelsea Green and Alba Fire on the outside there? Chelsea Green, I thought maybe she was taking some time off. Apparently not. She's been doing the things on social media, bye for now, with, showing the picture of the flag at half mast.
Hilarious.
Which was funny stuff. But here she is. I mean, she's just, dressed all in black like it's a funeral. So she's on the outside. Piper Niven looks, I won't say surprisingly strong because she's twice the size of Zelina Vega.
Mm-hmm.
And we've seen Piper Niven enough to know that she can wrestle. But Zelina Vega gets the win here after Chelsea Green jumps up on the apron to distract Zelina Vega and prevent the 619 attempt. Zelina argues, then avoids a Piper Niven charge that hits Chelsea Green. Standard heel move, right? The heels bump into each other, knocks her off the apron. Zelina Vega gets the roll up. Match goes about 11 minutes or so. First successful, I don't know if this was considered a title defense for the newly crowned women's U.S. champion Zelina Vega, but hey, first match since winning the belt, and she gets a pinfall here on Piper Niven.
Yes. Yeah, gets the win over Piper Niven. Kind of made sense. Knew it was going to happen pretty much. But, nonetheless, good to see Vega. We both agree that Vega was deserving of the title, right?
Now that they have a second tier belt, you're wondering who goes on it and who's going to be high energy. These second tier belts have to be high energy people.
Yeah, totally.
Like Roman Reigns can, slow walk around the ring for a minute and a half before he locks up.
Mm-hmm.
The second tier belts, you got to go. Even if you're a big stalking guy like Gunther, you wrestle.
Yeah.
LA Knight with the U.S. belt wrestles. That's why it's going to be interesting to see someone other than you, LA Knight, have the U.S. belt on the men's side. And do they actually wrestle?
Yeah.
But Zelina Vega, she's quick. She's fast moving. She goes for it. A little undersized, but, I'm not going to complain for the U.S. championship belt. she's sort of a feel good story. She emerged from being just the valet for Legado del Fantasma for a while, and then LWO, and now she's made her own as a wrestler. B-Fab has done the same thing. You know, we had a backstage segment where we can get to her later as well. But yeah, Zelina Vega, I'm not going to say that she doesn't deserve to have the belt. You know, if she keeps wrestling and keeps being entertaining, she is a little undersized, but in the Rey Mysterio mold, she does things like that second turnbuckle Meteora for a 2 count. She uses her opponent's size against her. And, you know, at the end, you know, she uses a screw up and does the bridging roll up there for a 3 count.
Right.
You know, it works for you. What say you about her? I know she's been on our radar since having that match with Rhea Ripley in Puerto Rico 2 years ago at Backlash. Basically, it's a 2-year anniversary of it.
She won my heart that match.
Right.
Also, selfishly, I think it was one of our really earliest strong performing videos that got like 100 views.
Okay.
Back when we got 100 views, it would be like a huge deal.
Yes.
But we talked about her being in Puerto Rico.
Yes.
And somebody commented, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm from Puerto Rico. It was awesome." I was like, "Oh my god, people are watching! Oh my god."
We can maybe get into this more, maybe a little bit during the Backlash review coming up. But that first Backlash that we covered, that pay-per-view aged like fine wine.
Yeah.
Like it was a first title defense for Rhea Ripley, and while she won, it was a coming out party for Zelina Vega. It was Damian Priest becoming a star that night. It was SKYE showing people she could be a singles wrestler. You know, that Backlash aged very, very well. There was a lot of stuff that not only was it a fun pay-per-view to watch, but looking back on it 2 years later and seeing how a lot of people from that pay-per-view really ran with the ball they were given.
Yeah.
With the opportunity they were given that night. Like,
Totally.
It's been amazing.
Pretty much
Zelina, Io, and Damian Priest all got their first real important handoff near the goal line, and they've been running with that ball for 2 years.
That's really what set Io and Damian Priest on the trajectory of the top guys. And I think Io at this point is very close to being a top guy. And you've got Damian Priest, who had that, you know, big US or big championship title on Raw. And, you know, you wouldn't be too surprised if you won the very big one, right?
No, they all took the ball around. They all did what they above and beyond what could be expected of them to do with that opportunity. And Zelina Vega is another one from that show. Like, we thought, like, wait, she's a wrestler? And there she was. She was a wrestler. And here she is, the women's U.S. champion.
Yeah, that might be one of our better shows that we've watched, is that Backlash.
Yeah, especially in retrospect.
In our era. Yeah.
Yeah.
Looking back on it.
And it was also the debut of Carlito, the re-debut.
Yes. Oh, the Puerto Rico crowd was great.
I spit in the face of people who don't like Backlash 2023. That pay-per-view was cool.
And I'll tell you what.
Chomp spit.
That's the era of before it went over the top. But when the foreign pay-per-views were like, wow, the foreign crowd's crazy. Like in Canada, it was like that with Sami Zayn. But now, like when they did the European tour, it's like, okay, guys, calm down with the chants.
Yeah, they're all doing it. Yeah.
Can we just chant, like, can we do chants that make sense? And can we pay attention to the match?
Crowds are trying to one up other crowds.
Yeah, right.
It's like the wrestling show is you know, ancillary. It's like whatever.
Completely secondary.
We've got a rivalry going with other fan bases from other cities
that we want to be louder. Yeah.
So I didn't have a lot of spots from this match other than the ones I already called out. Piper Niven wrestles the big woman stuff. You know, catches Zelina Vega on a leap in the corner, just slams her down, one-armed Uranagi. Did a side slam later. not a whole lot. This really wasn't about spots. It was more about Zelina Vega being high energy and the Chelsea Green's little contingent there continuing to be somewhat humorous, but also, not campy and too farcical. I mean, you like when Chelsea Green comes out and does something, and Piper Niven and now Alba Fire in those secret Hervis roles. I know it's working for me. To steal a line from you, I am sports entertained.
Yeah.
Is that a chat there coming in that you are eyeballing?
Yeah. Let's move on from that one.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, man.
Wherever you are watching us, Twitch, Twitter X, or on YouTube, thank you very much. Please know that when the live stream is over, the archive lives on at YouTube. Don't bury the lead, a wrestling channel on YouTube. All of the live stream shows are available there to rewatch. The edited videos, John, that you make, plus the hashtag shorts, the under 60-second ones, everything is at the YouTube channel. Subscribe. Help us climb that next mountain. We're above 1,100 subscribers now. There's also a very special join option there. Subscribe, get the notifications, click the like when you like it. Leave a comment when you got something to say. We like hearing from people. Don't bury the lead on YouTube.
Yes. Having said that, sorry, I blocked the person. It was not, we're not gonna do this. So
are we getting spammed in the live chat?
No, it's just way dirty.
Okay.
Yeah. So this person, I got to block him.
Okay.
Okay. Cool. I will tell you what he said after the show.
Okay.
Anyways, moving on.
It's about me, isn't it? It's I look too good here.
It's actually
with my pop filter in front of 3/4 of my face.
Yeah, I'll just read what he said. Why do you think they decided for Bray Wyatt not to die in the ring like Owen? So I said, okay, let's not talk about this. Yeah. So anyways, let's move on. What's
Owen
the next match?
Did not have a debilitating illness for months and months. It was like a freak accident.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
So we've got, let's see, Rey Fenix versus Santos Escobar with a little bit of backstage after that. Santos Escobar in the locker room insulting Rey Fenix for blowing his chance at WrestleMania when he was the last-minute replacement for Rey Mysterio Jr., another Rey there. And Rey Fenix says, maybe we should have a match tonight. Goes off to make the match, and they wrestle a little bit later. Rey Fenix versus Santos Escobar. Match goes around in the 12-minute range. Rey Fenix hits the top turn Meteora for the pinfall. A win over Santos Escobar here. So Santos Escobar loses a week after Los Garza lose. Things not looking too good for Legado del Fantasma, what's left of them. What say you about this one-on-one, very action-packed luchador-looking match?
Honestly, Dom, I missed this one, so maybe if you want to recap it.
Sure. You'll never believe this, but Santos Escobar hit a dive as they went to the first commercial.
No, I'm so glad I missed it then.
See? Some neat stuff. Rey Fenix hits a top turnbuckle moonsault crossbody, which I haven't seen before. It was because Santos Escobar was already on his feet, so as he moonsault, it becomes kind of a crossbody move there. So I got a 2 count out of it. Santos Escobar with the big knee to the head, but Rey Fenix pops up and hits a super kick, and then both guys fall down. So it was like, no sell, super kick, everybody sell. It was one of those things. So some of that may be the luchador style that I just doesn't, it doesn't get me the right way.
Yeah.
I understand there's a lot of athleticism involved, but I don't like the let's no sell and then everybody like delayed reaction sell and just be down for, the referees giving both guys a count. Interesting enough match. If there's going to be more of the rivalry over who's taking the mantle from Rey Mysterio, as the next great luchador. I mean, for a while it was supposed to be Dragon Lee. Santos Escobar has always wanted that mantle, that baton to be passed to him. Ray Phoenix, if he's in the mix here, I'm up for a little rivalry like that. I mean, I don't want the whole show to be luchador matches, but I'll take one here and there. Not a bad match. But I mean, there's also a reason why we reviewed it 6 out of 6 matches.
Yeah.
It wasn't the lead, and it wasn't something that you or I just jumped to early.
Well, we're here, and we're through all the matches. Anything else you want to talk about?
Yes. Backstage, let's see. It was B-Fab and Michin saying that they want a women's title match, and that was their way of sneaking in that Liv Morgan is currently off doing some movie stuff that we may have a brief thing about in Cheap Heat. So for now, they're not stripping Liv and Raquel of the tag team titles, but they are going to pause things there. But they planted the seed for us that B-Fab and Michin, who've got some chemistry together, maybe there'll be a team going forward. This could be fun.
Yeah.
Other than that, not much else going on. A lot of the backstage stuff was to set up stuff later in the night, like Nia Jax, Tiffany Stratton interrupting, all these things that turned into a match later. LA Knight and Damian Priest, that started backstage, spilled out into the ring with the dueling promos. That set up a match right away. So a lot of the stuff that was backstage we saw again. What little we didn't, we've already mentioned. It was Nick Aldis making the fatal 4-way for the U.S. belt at Backlash. I think that's it. Is it drive time?
Dom, I think it's drive time.
Oh, wait. There was one more thing. I wrote this down in my notes here. Randy Orton in ring. Bathroom break. Apparently, Randy Orton was talking for a long time without John Cena there. I don't know how Randy Orton by himself helps upsell the pay-per-view match beyond what we've already seen when they've been together. So like Randy Orton in ring, and I'm going, all right, nothing's happening. Cena's not here.
Fast forward.
Yeah.
Fast forward / go get a sandwich / bathroom break.
This something. There you go.
All right. Very good, Dom. Let's go to the thumb drive here.
All right. The thumb drive is when you and I distill this show that we watched into a simple thumbs up or a thumbs down. There are no ties. There are also no star ratings, no letter grades, no number grades. You're taking this course. Pass, fail.
Dom, we're not Dave Meltzer. We don't do star ratings. We don't do 7 stars in the Tokyo Dome. We don't do 4 stars at AEW Collision at the Atlantic City Boardwalk Hall. No. We don't do star ratings. We just give a simple thumbs up or a thumbs down.
There you go.
So, Dom, are you ready?
I am ready.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Oh, we have differing thumbs. You gave this one a thumbs down, Dom. Why did you give this SmackDown a thumbs down?
I don't know if it's becoming a trend with me or if it's the show. When SmackDown first started at 3 hours, it was a 3-hour show.
Mm-hmm.
Now it seems like it's not a 3-hour show, but it's taking 3 hours.
Totally.
I mean, now some of this also is because we're 5 days later when we're reviewing it. But as I was setting up tonight, I'm going, I don't remember that anything really stood out from the show, and it was 5 days ago.
Yeah. No, I had
the same. I still remember Ludwig Kaiser versus LA Knight last August on SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember anything being that big a deal from 5 days ago.
Yeah, I barely gave this a thumbs up, and I only gave it a thumbs up because I've been giving them thumbs downs lately, and I was like, okay, I can't just keep giving them thumbs down, so I'll give this one a thumbs up going in, hoping the positivity will keep rolling here into Backlash, because I have been pretty critical of the show, and I was like, oh, well, we don't want to be that channel that becomes critical of pro wrestling. We don't want to be like the rest of those guys. So I was like, why don't I give it a thumbs up? It was good enough. I fast forwarded through one of the matches that helped. I'm able to fast forward through a lot of the stuff. Watching it live would have been a rough out, but we at least had some stuff with Miz had put on some pretty good stuff with Aleister Black. The tag match at the end, I think, was pretty good. If they would have just finally let us have a match with LA Knight and LA Knight and
Damian
Priest. I almost said Drew McIntyre. That also would work too. If they would let one of those guys just have a regular match, then we would have seen. I think you probably would have been more favorable in the show, and I would have been like, yeah, I liked it, thumbs up. But they just didn't. They just keep doing these schmazes.
Since you seem to be grading on a curve, was there something about this one that at least looked a little better than a past show that you really gave a thumbs down, or
not really? I think it's a similar trend, and I'm just kind of curved it a little bit because I'm like, I don't want to just keep giving thumbs down. So I gave it a thumbs up, and I'll give it a sympathy thumbs up. I hope Backlash they come out swinging, and
it feels like exactly what I said when I was. You threw it to me at the beginning of the show and I did the lead. Like, this is the time of year where almost everything is building to a premium live event and this other stuff gets lost.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, SmackDown seems like it's gotten lost for a few weeks.
It's been almost like meaningless to watch. And they haven't put much meaning outside of that tag match, which was excellent. The TLC. They're just building a storyline, and there's not like a ton of wrestling, and they have too much time, and they don't know what to do with all the time.
It's getting there. I think the first person we talked about it with was when Seth Rollins was asked, about 3-hour shows back when there was talk that when Raw moved to Netflix, it would go at least initially down to 2 hours. And Seth Rollins was the guy who said, yeah, it seems like 2.5 hours is maybe the optimal length for it, because 2 hours, you may feel a little rushed, but 3 hours, you feel like you're trying to fill time.
Yeah. He just called, and then both shows are 3 hours.
Right. And then it's like, oh boy, there we go. So at least they had, and you could say, well, they've got the second tier women's title now that needs to get TV time. That, like, okay, but now it's a 3-hour show. You should be able to add the women's US championship angles and feuds and whatever you're doing without having to not do the other stuff. Like, you should be able to fill the 3 hours if you have that third hour. So I don't know. Speaking of filling time, is it time to get a little warm and put everything on sale?
Dom, I forgot to put up the slide. You had me so captivated by your rant. It's Cheap Heat, baby. Cheap Heat is where we talk about trending topics that happen in the pro wrestling world. So we talk about WWE, AEW, and other aspects of the pro wrestling world. We talk about these trending topics because YouTube loves them. And we make small videos based off the trending topics. And we've had a lot of success on YouTube. We're up to 1,100 subscribers. We are monetized. And it's all because of just Cheap Heat and doing these shorter videos. So thanks to you guys out there that are watching right now, that watch all the time or frequently enough that have gotten us paid. So appreciate that. But then, ultimately at the end of the day here, we're going to keep the ball rolling here and continue with Cheap Heat because it is our bread and butter. Dom, what you got going on in Cheap Heat here?
I'm going to do a little callback here to, I think you had put up a video when you attended some of the NCAA wrestling finals matches this past year. They were over in Philadelphia, and we had some good stuff there. We also talked about Gable Stevenson being upset in the finals of the heavyweight division.
Yeah.
And I think that plays into the story we have here on our screen as a black and white still frame from a video of Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff They are putting together what they think is going to be a freestyle wrestling promotion. This has been in the news for a few weeks now. You sent me this latest thing that you saw that they've gotten UFC star and Olympian Ben Askren. He recently signed a contract with them. Said he was excited to get back into wrestling and help teach young talent how to succeed. So they're talking about all the people they're bringing on here that will be part of. Let's get the tweet up there. There he is.
Mm-hmm.
You could see him on the screen. So this promotion, has this ever really been tried before? Like freestyle wrestling, professional freestyle wrestling, not,
This is at this scale. I've never seen it. I've seen trying clubs. I've seen they have they have tournaments for the Olympics and stuff like that, but not having their own league for real. Ben Askren is a guy. They do flow wrestling. They do some tournaments, but
Okay.
not, and that's different. But that's not like they have a dedicated roster with flow wrestling. This is so Ben Askren's a pretty big name to pull. I should say a really big name in the wrestling community. He's a national champ. He was in UFC. He is more like a big talking face in the wrestling community now.
Okay.
So he's a big guy to pull. And then in addition to that, he also got knocked out by Jake Paul, which that does not help.
Oh.
But he's one of Jake Paul's victims.
Perhaps they can get Jake Paul into the real American freestyle wrestling.
Actually, if they played their cards right, they would avoid the Pauls they would have to avoid the Pauls like the plague, except for maybe Logan, because he can wrestle. So that'd be interesting to see. But we don't need their brand of crap there.
Real American Freestyle Wrestling, RAF, comes from Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff and wrestling coach Israel Izzy Martinez.
Mm-hmm.
And now Ben Askren. Real American Freestyle Wrestling is an unscripted freestyle wrestling league involving storytelling and over 40 characters, which in addition to Ben Askren, former national champion Zalid Valencia, former Olympian and world champion Kennedy Blades. This comes to us from WrestleZone. There was another WrestleZone article. Hulk Hogan's apparently been making the rounds, talking up this freestyle wrestling thing. And in doing so, he's mentioning and referencing amateur wrestlers who made it big in pro wrestling. Brock Lesnar, Kurt Angle, and Shelton Benjamin, or as Hulk Hogan called him, Benjamin Shelton, which of course became its own little internet thing of Benjamin Shelton's work here. Come on. We already did this at WrestleZone. There we go. So you've got, come on. We already set this up on the last tab. It's the same website. There we go. So you've got people kind of making fun of Hulk Hogan for mixing up Shelton Benjamin's name. Whatever. I just think it's interesting that in order to talk up something that's not supposed to be pro wrestling, the Hulkster is referencing pro wrestlers.
Yes. He's like, I've been working with these guys that are pro wrestlers. Like, wait, what?
Like, is there not enough from outside of pro wrestling that you think like Gable Stevenson would be a guy, the wrestler who beat him? Those might be the ones to talk about. But they're really trying to ride the coattails of. It looks like amateur wrestlers who made good in pro wrestling, even though RAF is not supposed to be pro wrestling. This controversy, overblown, under-touted. What say you about not only the Freestyle League, but some of the early attempts to promote it with not only the who's the third man and the mystery little video vignettes on social media, but also like this is the Hulkster on the Pat McAfee show. So they're making the rounds here. This
Yeah,
was,
Pat McAfee
this was
show's
earlier,
huge.
a couple of weeks ago. This is kind of old footage from a couple of months ago talking about it when they were first broaching the subject. But I mean, what make you think of how this thing has been broached to the news consuming public and how it's kind of stayed in the news?
Yeah, I think it's great that it's that he's the face of it, because you need a guy like this to get some interest, like someone that can easily go on the Pat McAfee show and talk about wrestling, versus like if it was me in my backyard, like, yo, let's do it. It's just not going to get the same kind of traction. I think it's going to be crucial, and I mean crucial, for them to have any sort of success. This needs to be either on YouTube for free, or this needs to be on something where people can watch it. If it just lives on a random cable station, it'll just fold, and it will never gain that traction. It needs to be somewhere in the modern media world. I think it's more about getting eyeballs on it. Like the NFL is a great example. Why is the NFL so big? Because it's on CBS and Fox, and everybody gets CBS and Fox. So and ABC and stuff. You can't just put it. You need to generate interest enough in this, and you need eyeballs on it. You're not going to make money right away. So if they follow that strategy, I think that they'll have something. But if they do the dumb thing that a lot of these organizations do, is, hey, let's get a contract with like Spike TV or something that nobody has, something crazy. Nobody's going to watch it. A great example might be
with TV deals, right? Is it, for as big a deal as a TV deal seems to be, if it's on a channel that's difficult to find, especially for your target audience, the people who you expect to enjoy it, you're better off not having that TV deal. I mean, the short-term upfront money is nice, but that's not how you build long-term, is it?
No. The women's hockey right now is doing that. They just put the games on YouTube, and it's like they just started a pro women's hockey league, and it's got like some buzz because you can watch it. So it's got buzz. So yeah, you're not going to make any money on it initially, but if you do want to make money on it at some point, it's got to have interest, and the only way to get interest is for people to watch it.
There you go. Good point. We know that people like the man with 3 H's watches Don't Bury the Lead. Hulkster, Eric Bischoff, Izzy Martinez, Ben Askren, if you are watching Don't Bury the Lead, you just got some good free advice there.
Yeah, that's my 2
cents.
Don't
blow it.
Don't blow it.
But perhaps maybe keep Benjamin Shelton's name out of your mouth.
Yeah, Benjamin Shelton, not a happy camper. Keep my name out your effing mouth. Oh my God.
There you go, with Will Smith, of course. So, it is what it is. Up next, some people may be looking for work. Cuts from the WWE roster in a pre-SmackDown stunner. Braun Strowman and Shayna Baszler among them. This comes to us from the New York Post. And let's see here. The big names, of course, Braun Strowman, Shayna Baszler, Dakota Kai, some other people we had seen on the main roster occasionally, like Caden Carter and Katana Chance. Cora Jade, I don't know who they are. I don't know what all of Gallus means.
Like a stable or something? They're all gone?
This entire, sounds like an NXT thing, but yeah, so some of the developmental talent gets cut, but also some big main roster people. Dakota Kai was in the Women's Intercontinental Championship mix for since they started promoting that as a second-tier belt on Raw. Shayna Baszler, it seems like they didn't have much for her to do after Ronda Rousey left. They tried putting her in the stable with Zoe Stark and Sonya Deville, but it too seems to have fallen apart. Braun Strowman was very serviceable, especially as the big guy. You put Braun Strowman in a match with somebody, and all of a sudden it just looks like it means something. because of who Braun Strowman is, former Universal Champion.
I was
So these
really
are some
surprised.
big names here,
I was really surprised with Braun Strowman.
right?
Braun Strowman is a guy who looks like he was almost getting a push, right?
He was also helping get Jacob Fatu over.
Yeah. And he was like the guy beating up Jacob Fatu.
Yeah,
It wasn't
a little
like
bit. Yeah.
like they were going back and forth. Like, oh man,
Yep.
look, two monsters. But for Braun, I think he is a victim of what the new wrestling world needs, and they don't need just giants that are dominant. So
Okay.
even when he moves down the card, they don't need guys that are giants that are dominant that are jobbers. They need normal dudes that are jobbers. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to see him go out there and lose. So he's a victim of his size at this point.
To that point, he was in something earlier this year with Carmelo Hayes, where Carmelo Hayes wound up getting a couple of wins over him in very dubious fashion. Like there were a couple of times where Braun Strowman would follow Carmelo Hayes to the outside, and Carmelo Hayes would somehow beat the 10 count into the ring, but Braun Strowman wouldn't. You know, so they were trying to find ways, to your point, where like, we can't just have Braun Strowman at 350 pounds or whatever he is get pinned.
Yeah. The thing that was a huge benefit for people in the 80s right now is a big detractor in pro wrestling if you're that big. And if you're that big, he almost has to thin up and become just so he's not so massive, like thin up and be athletic. And at least he's really tall and athletic, and then have guys beat him up a little bit, like, Drew McIntyre, for example. But when you're that huge, like Strowman, it's like, no, you're just so muscly,
He was fun in the tag team with Ricochet.
Yeah, that was a perfect pairing. That's a shame that didn't have legs.
But yeah, so Braun Strowman, one of the guys who is gone. Shayna Baszler, Braun Strowman by far and away the biggest one let go. But Shayna Baszler also, she posted to X, "No one could offer what I have to offer. Reality. Let the galaxy burn." Not sure exactly what that means. Let's see if there was more to it, perhaps at the tweet, if it'll pop up. But Shayna Baszler, yet she's one of those people who could have been really good in, maybe she was good in mixed martial arts. She could be good in the real American freestyle. But yeah, there was a realness to Shayna Baszler. She had that.
Yeah, let the galaxy burn. I don't know what that refers to. Is that like the WWE universe, or is
I don't know. Is that a comic book hero thing?
It looks like she's alluding that's a.
Bro thinks she is Horus. That may be Horus. I don't know. Let's see here. This is This is Shayna Baszler. Oh, go get that Ring of Honor women's title. What do you think? Do some of these talent that have been released, do they have potential over in AEW? You've seen some AEW, including very recently.
Improved a good amount. I think she'll find work there because they are always kind of in need of women's help. And I think, this one person said Ring of Honor. Ring of Honor feels like it makes a bit more sense than AEW, like up at the top. I don't think she'd make she might be past her prime. I honestly, she's been around for a while, and AEW's got a good thing going with their women's division, so she might be sent down to Ring of Honor, and just to be a jobber there. But I think I could easily see her in Ring of Honor, or if she was willing to take a jobber role in AEW, then.
Cora Jade, among the youngest wrestlers, cut on Friday. A lot of NXT members there. Dakota Kai, though, we do remember her tag team champions with Io Sky in Damage Control. Most released talent are subjected to a 90-day non-compete clause for main roster performers, 30 days for NXT talent as standard in WWE contracts. So maybe if you were released from NXT, it's to your advantage. You can, if somebody wants to give you a chance, you've got just a month.
I just read this about Cora Jade. It says Cora Jade's not wasting any time. She's relaunching her OnlyFans. So she'll be getting paid money. I know that.
Is that from a chat that we were sent during the live stream, or is that somewhere else?
No, I just Googled Cora Jade because I didn't know who she was.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think that she also has the best tweet. Cora Jade. Let's see here. Tweet.
Is she in there as Cora Jade? I will look her up right now. Elena Black. Cora Jade fan site.
Be careful. That'll get us in trouble.
Right.
Is there... Oh, so what she did was...
Is this her, Elena Black? Is this who she is? Formerly known
Elena
as Cora Jade. There she is. Please send all new booking and inquiries to Elena Black at the Paragon TG and talent agency, I'm imagining, and forward anyone previously sent there as well going forward. There you go. So she's also got a talent agency with her now.
Oh, that wasn't maybe it wasn't her. Somebody had posted, I don't know which one of the NXT girls that got fired, posted a picture with her with a big bottle of vodka, and then she's like, well, we got a lot of free time today, so we're gonna party a little bit. You know, and I thought that was good. I like that.
Apparently, her hardcore side here, GCW.
Yeah, I got some news for you. See that guy in the white?
Yes,
that's Jimmy Lloyd, and he used to come to our wrestling matches at NJCW as a fan.
Really?
Yes, no joke. We look at some of the stuff in the earlier
# Jersey Shore.
Yeah, it's about right. This must be from a while ago when she was out of the WWE.
From an intergender hardcore match.
Oh God. Anyways,
apparently she has some potential. Elena Black, Cora Jade. So there you go. We're learning more about some of these wrestlers who were released.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of release from WrestleZone again here, former TNA talent now working backstage at AEW. Do you remember Josh Matthews? He apparently was part of Tough Enough. Then he was working for a long time over in TNA Impact. He is the real-life husband of Madison Rayne, who works backstage at AEW as a coach for the women's division. What do you know about Josh Matthews? Is this a good pickup?
I don't know. I've never heard of him, honestly.
Josh Matthews, let's say. A lot of talent was let go from TNA in February. We covered that. Among those people were Gail Kim at the time.
Gail Kim was awesome. So
yes. So Josh Matthews also apparently has a really good mind for it. People like, I think it was Maven, who's got a pretty good YouTube channel himself. There's a good big old picture of Josh Matthews there. Who Maven Husband said that Josh Matthews had a really good mind for, probably should have won the original Tough Enough, but talented, happy, transition, doing what he's doing in the business now, meaning working behind the scenes, doing commentary, those kind of things. Amazing wrestling mind. He was the guy who knew more wrestling at that point than I still know to this day. So Josh Matthews, maybe a good role for him in AEW. I mean, if you're going from TNA to AEW in a similar role within the company, that's kind of a step up.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe he failed upward here, getting fired from TNA.
Yeah.
I mean, TNA does have the arrangement with WWE, so there's always that thing in the back of people's minds, like, oh, if I'm in TNA, I may be just one phone call away from WWE, at least for a cameo, maybe regular appearances here and there. But on the other hand, as a full-time gig, AEW, not a bad spot to land in for Josh Matthews.
Nope.
Up next, we mentioned Liv Morgan shooting a movie. It's Bad Lieutenant Tokyo. A new story from the legendary John, the legendary Takeshi Miike. I don't know how to pronounce that. There's two I's in Mike. I'm guessing it's not just Mike. Starring Shun Uguri, Lily James, and Liv Morgan. So her stage name is making the the top three people they've mentioned here. I don't know how long this is supposed to take. WWE apparently does not expect it to be so long that they would have stripped the belts from Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan. But yeah, she's out doing a movie. Apparently, it's a big enough deal that it's getting some play online. Good for her.
Yeah.
She is a wrestler who, when we first saw her, she was in a program with Ronda Rousey, and she was supposed to be doing hardcore stuff, and it looked a little awkward. But then a week or two later, she's on SmackDown, and she's not doing that, and instead she's just back to her regular character, which at the time was someone who was a little crazy. And like, I noticed right away, and this is what really brought me around to her early, was, okay, she's really committed to her character. People who are committed to their characters, no matter what the place on the card they are, I seem to like.
Yeah.
Because I like when people just, go all in on whatever opportunity they've gotten.
Totally.
Liv Morgan was like that. LA Knight was like that at exactly the same time. Late 2022 on SmackDown. So I'm
Liv was one of the girls that you called, and then she got up, and obviously she's had a hell of a career.
Yes.
Since then.
Yeah, because she was committed to the character. I mean, I wasn't saying that, she's phenomenal in the ring, 5-star matches all the time. But she was good enough in the ring, and she was committed to the character. Like, she was interesting when she got out there. And so I'm not really surprised that she's taking a shot at the regular old movie making here. She does the little things, like when Becky Lynch was announced as the surprise partner for Lyra Valkyria at WrestleMania, as Raquel and Liv are just watching and mocking Lyra, who was out there all by herself from the ropes. As soon as Becky Lynch's music hits, Liv Morgan drops her title belt as she's staring at the video board. Right? It's a little thing like that, like to sell the surprise. Like the look on her face, and then like she just lets go of the title belt as she's looking up at Becky Lynch make this crazy entrance. So little things like that. I'm not surprised that Liv's been able to get this opportunity over in regular old acting. But at the same time, she and Raquel Rodriguez have been really good as tag champs.
Yeah.
I'd like to see her back wrestling too. Selfishly, I want to see her and Raquel back wrestling.
Well,
what do you know about Bad Lieutenant? Apparently, these were old movies a while ago. There was a movie of the same title, not Tokyo, but just Bad Lieutenant. A while ago, I think there was a Nicolas Cage one about Bad Lieutenant L.A. or something.
Oh, Dom, your mic's messed up.
And now Bad Lieutenant Tokyo, just plain old Bad Lieutenant Tokyo. I'm trying to stay on the mic here as I look back and forth to 2 different screens. I apologize if I am moving a little away when I should not be. But there you go. Another in the Bad Lieutenant series there, none of which I have seen.
Yeah, I haven't seen them either. But
this is the Japanese rendition of the franchise here, Bad Lieutenant Tokyo. All best to everybody involved.
Yeah.
Speaking of women's wrestling, the Bella Twins were seemingly confirmed that a WWE Evolution 2 is happening. I had to do some reading up on this. Evolution was apparently an all-women's pay-per-view that the WWE did years ago. And the Bella Twins are saying that WWE Evolution 2 is perhaps going to happen. What a great time for something like that, now that they have 4 singles titles on the women's side in WWE, plus the tag team titles. That's not counting anything in NXT. And they've got a lot of really solid in-ring wrestlers to fill out all of those belts. Do you think they could put on a 5 or 6 match premium live event with only women's matches?
Yeah, yeah, because you know why? They've really made the premium live events a pretty reasonable time frame. It's
Yes.
usually just 3 hours of just wrestling, which is would be nice if we had 2 hours of wrestling on SmackDown and 3 hours pay per view, not 3 hours of story development. But anyways, enough of that about that. Yeah, I think this is really. I think they could do it, and the women's division is, in my opinion, stronger than the men's division, like without question. It's like, yeah, I think it's more top to bottom strong. Uh, we're talking about Jade Cargill tonight and questioning her, and then you have Fraxium. Well, Jade's better than Fraxium.
Right.
And Jade might be one of the weaker people there. So I mean, like, that just shows you how strong they are. You even got girls on the bench like Natalia that could wrestle anyone. So
Sure, she could put on a great match.
I'm curious. Do the Bellas think that they will be in this pay-per-view?
That's a good question. They are talking about maybe bringing back Total Divas. Total Divas. All the girls, having Nia and Trinity, known as Naomi. Paige is a free agent now. All the OGs. Do you remember at all this Total Divas thing? I do not.
Dom, it was a guilty pleasure.
Okay.
It was complete trash. It would be on after, like, I think it did after Raw, but really it would be playing sometimes like before Raw and like on other times on the USA Network. And this is really before I was like using the internet to watch TV, so I just had cable. And I was like, oh, there's the Total Divas, and we would watch it. And I was like, oh yeah, all those wrestlers. And someone from my work who like loves E and loves those shows, she would be like, yeah, you watch wrestling, right? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, she's like, do you like watch Total Divas? I was like, sometimes, yeah. She's like, I love it. It's amazing. I'm like, it's pretty stupid, but okay. I would watch. It was really like, if you're doing something around the house and you just want to turn your brain off, you could put that on because it's like the dumbest thing ever.
People kept asking for it. People won't let go about Total Divas. People really want it. Apparently, that's a quote there.
That's a quote from the people that made it.
From Nikki Bella, yes. Apparently, they had Natalia on this program talking to them about it. She said, I would love that. I think we need to manifest the hell out of that.
I love wait, where's this quote? People want it. Can you bring that back up?
Sure. People kept asking for it. People won't let go of Total Divas.
This sounds like, if you said that in the Trump voice, it sounds like Trump. People kept asking for it. They won't let it go about the Total Divas. People
Total
really
Divas.
Want
it's the greatest divas ever. The Total Divas. The total, all of them.
Yeah, the other
it's all
shows.
The divas. It's Total. You can't get better than the Total Divas.
You can't get better than Total Divas.
People kept asking for it.
People kept asking for it, and you know what? The other shows, terrible, awful,
terrible.
But the Total
People
Divas,
tell me it's a guilty pleasure, but you know what? They still watch it. People kept asking for it.
Yeah, people. It's really people tell me.
People tell me it was a great show. I never saw it, but people tell me, from what I've heard, people tell me it's a great show.
That's it.
Life can take some interesting turns.
Life can take some interesting turns.
Right? Yes. Total Divas, Evolution 2, all of these things. One more, a little bit of WrestleMania 41, putting a bow on it. We all remember Stone Cold being out there. He was asked on Ariel Helwani's show about the John Cena Cody Rhodes main event, to which Steve Austin replied, I didn't see it. I just wanted to beat the crowd, and I haven't watched it back. Stone Cold Steve Austin, does he seem passive-aggressive towards his old employer recently?
Well, it's tough to tell because he was cranky on this interview.
Yes.
He did not want to do it. And Ariel, God bless him, asking all kinds of tough questions. Basically trying to bait him into saying that the main event wasn't good. He's just like, oh, I didn't watch it yet. I think that's what that really was. I think he just said, I didn't watch it because I don't want to trash the guys. I think that's what it really is.
Oh, okay.
I think that's for the boys. He didn't want to say, oh, yeah, I watched it. It was fantastic. when it wasn't, right? Like obviously Travis Scott ruined everything. And everyone, that's been the scuttlebutt, and he's not stupid, Austin. He knows that's not good. Yeah, there has been a little bit of a weird relationship between WWE and Austin. Maybe because Vince isn't there anymore. Vince was always just in. Also, in addition to that, he kind of just wants to get left alone. And WWE is always calling him to do stuff, and he's just like, I want to be, he's done.
Doesn't he host a podcast? I mean, he wants to be still in the public eye and known for his connections to wrestling. He just doesn't want to keep appearing at the WWE shows.
Yes, exactly. Okay. He doesn't want to do any of the stuff on the shows because he's done. He doesn't want to wrestle any matches because he's done. He doesn't want to. I think that's the impression I get.
And he doesn't want to just keep doing, little spots and catchphrases.
Yeah. Maybe that's the case.
Apparently, he had a decent match with Kevin Owens at WrestleMania 38 the year before we started Don't Bury the Lead.
Yeah, that was fun. It was just great to see Austin. Just a big nostalgia pop.
Was that his finale with the WWE?
He was throwing punches. He was standing. He wasn't doing any moves. He just kept throwing punches and punches and punches, and Owens would just sell him for him like a maniac. I don't think he got like any real offense on him. But
okay,
it was like Sting-esque in AEW. Like
there you go.
He wasn't really bumping.
So Steve Austin, he already got sort of the send off that he thought would be as best as it could possibly be.
Yeah, he's
trying to be very careful with what he does. Or it's like he's comfortable at home. He doesn't want to have to travel to all these ridiculous places and do conventions and stuff.
I think that's what you can even see in his facial here, like his facial expression, the way he's talking to Ariel. He does not look happy. So ultimately, what I'm thinking here, Dom, is he does claim to be a loner, so you might just want to do his shows, his podcast, and then that's that, because podcasts are kind of loner activities, right?
Except for us. Not only are there two of us on here, but we've got so many people with us in the live chat, people watching the archive shows on YouTube, liking, subscribing, leaving us their comments. This is not a solitary endeavor.
This is true. We've had about up to 6 or 7 people on. I think we have 3 on now. So yeah,
very good.
Rolling. Thanks for hanging in there. Pretty consistently, 2 of you. Really appreciate it. And anything else from Cheap Heat, Dom?
That's all I got, John. It's pathologically frugal. It is unseasonably warm. What is it, my friend?
It's Cheap Heat. All right. We got Cheap Heat, and we're going to go to the Italian goodbye, which is more so an Irish goodbye or even a real goodbye at this point, because I have to get up for work tomorrow.
Excellent.
I am a working man, so I need to go to bed.
You're gainfully employed. Very good.
Gainfully employed. Unfortunately, I have to do this thing called work. I've really enjoyed the show tonight. Wednesday, we had a really good turnout. Thank you, everyone that joined. We're going to be releasing videos moving forward here. I'm very excited to say I want to do the short video with all of our stupid shorts and make that a video. I'm really looking forward to that. We'll probably do a video on the Hogan stuff and the wrestling. I think that's going to be a good one, so I'll work on that. And I've also been doing some NJCW stuff on the side, Dom. So I'm going to be posting a video with Anton Zander tonight.
Oh, very good.
Yeah. So that's actually you know what? This is going to turn into the Italian goodbye. Who am I kidding? This is going to take me a little bit longer than I would have anticipated. And now we're going to be just me and you talking about this. But I did see the botched kick out. The botched when he put his leg up on the rope, Anton Zander and LT Adams, when they put the leg up on the rope and bam, Hey, Dom, you there? Uh-oh. Did we lose? Uh-oh. Well, folks, that's show business. Thank you so much for joining. Have a great